It seems like weekly I have a video that I have to make based on somebody speaking out against the anime industry and how things are handled, the work environments and all this kind of stuff. And it really does have me wondering at some point, when is one of these people actually going to do something about it? But yes, Nippon Anime and Film Culture Association, or NAFCA, has announced they have secured funding as of May 19th. Now, what is NAFCA? What is this group? Well, this consists of former A1 Pictures and Aniplex executive Masuo Ueda, who is sitting as the chairman of the board. NAFCA aims to improve understanding of the anime industry's management and production sides, improving working conditions for animators. They released a statement in a tweet saying, "We, Nippon Anime and Film Culture Association, held a press conference yesterday to announce the formation of the association and released the statement below. We want to believe that animation has a future. It has been 100 years since the establishment of commercial animation. The sales from related industries have exceeded 3.5 trillion yen. And as a culture that symbolizes the nation, anime has taken the world by storm." That's for damn sure. That's for sure. On the other hand, the production studio, far from being a factory that nurtures dreams, is a place where creators are supported solely by the love of the craft. Sadly true. There is so many interviews and whatnot of animators who are just tired, overworked, underpaid. And when they ask them, why are you doing this? Like, everything that you just stated, your working conditions, everything sucks. Why are you doing it? Because they grew up with it. Because they love it. Because mostly, a lot of them are otaku themselves that love this craft and want to be a part of it. They grew up saying, I can't wait to be an animator myself and make this cool stuff. Again, it is a place where creators are supported solely by the love of the craft, to the limit of their physical and mental strength. And it is no exaggeration to say the site is on the verge of collapse. Once again, another group / person / somebody in the anime industry saying, this is not going to keep going. Stuff is going to fall apart. And again, a lot of it has to do with the fact that a lot of the production committees and whatnot are getting all the money because they're essentially creating this monopoly on control of the anime industry, and they're giving very little investment to the animation studios. The animation studios accept it, and they pay their animators very little because they're getting very little to make the animation. Will Japanese animation production continue to be a field where one must prepare to live in poverty in order to break into the industry? Most likely. This idea is that a lot of people, when they get into animation in Japan, their hopes is, yes, they're going to live with really terrible pay, but hope that eventually they'll become an animation director or they'll become a director itself. That's when they'll actually get a living wage. They just gotta push through those early years and hope that somebody acknowledges them or that a slot opens. Will it continue to compensate for the depletion of human resources by relying on overseas production systems? Yes, again, all that's going to other areas, especially China. With the global shift in work styles and increasing scrutiny on the issue of employment inequality, can we continue to allow this state of affairs to continue until the government takes a scalpel to it? This is the thing I talked about in a previous video quite a bit, this idea that while I don't want this to happen, it seems like these production committees and studios and everybody involved in control of the production of an anime is literally pushing to the point where the only thing that can fix it is the government stepping in. And that's the sucky thing. This is this whole thing that a while back they had this big meeting in the Diet, and they were talking about the fact that why is overseas animators getting paid more than what you're paying your animators here? This is something of our culture. This is an icon of us. This is something that we produce that is Japan, and we're losing that. It's going somewhere else. Why can't you guys figure this out? And it's literally one of those things of pushing almost to this point of there's going to be no more animators left. It's all going to be overseas, and eventually they're going to go, we got to change something here. And it's going to come in some sort of forced intervention, and that's literally what they're saying here. It's going to happen. And, I mean, I personally don't like it, and I'm sure they don't like it. They don't want the government to get involved. But it's going to come to that point because, again, people aren't being supported with a living wage. And yes, there's ways that the government can intervene by giving some sort of benefit to the companies, tax breaks or something like that, something to incentivize them to pay their animators and pay them well. But there's also some cases where they might restrict them, and that will just hurt the industry in general because, again, it's just going to force them to want to go overseas. Or maybe even the government getting involved and saying, you can't send animation work overseas. You have to keep it in locally. And then what that's going to do is a lot of these people are going to go and leave with their production groups and everything to another country. It sucks because there's a lot of ways they can intervene, and a lot of those ways are going to be just terrible. They continue, we at Nippon Anime and Film Culture Association are not an organization that only seeks to improve conditions. The management and production sides must understand each other's situation, be aware of the responsibilities, and use their respective wisdom to dissolve the accumulated stagnation in order to achieve a greater goal. Sort of what I'm getting from this whole statement right here is really them saying, specifically, we're not just going to go in there and say, fix this, improve this condition. That's not their only goal, is to just focus on doing this. I think what they're trying to say here is that their goal is not to be mean to production committees, to be mean to studios, to keep those doors open for them, to allow them in, because sort of what they want to do as well is sort of help everybody understand what's going wrong, what they can do to sort of improve that quality, not just make demons out of the people that are in charge, which again, I think is a good movement. You can be strong-armed, but as an organization on the outside coming in, you're not going to be very successful there. You have to bring everybody to the table. You can't just demonize one side, even though most of it is one side's fault. Like I said, the people that run the studios, people that run the production committees. And I think where this could be really cool is, like, I made a video a while back about MAPPA and how that big interview they were talking about essentially how they built up from the bottom up to the point where they could 100% produce their own anime, which was Chainsaw Man. And it was this idea that we don't want to always do that. We want to essentially have such a good name and such a brand recognition that we can go to the production committees and say, we want a part in this. We want to equal investment. That way we get equal benefit from it. And maybe that's enough. That's what they need in order to actually pay their people decently. Not to say that MAPPA is doing that. I don't know. But the hope is. And maybe people like that, who literally learned all the stuff the production committee did, learned it so that he could do it himself. Maybe that's something they can bring that knowledge to them. The other part of that whole interview was this idea that they built themselves up to gain that notoriety and stand in equal footing with those production committees. And that's a knowledge that when I read that, I'm like, that needs to be spread to everybody. Like, everybody needs to call this guy up and say, what did you guys do? It continues, we would like to be an organization that works together with a national culture strategy and aims even higher. If everyone involved in this world, regardless of their position, loves animation, they will surely open up. This is what we believe. Like a call out. If you like animation, you're going to talk to us. If you don't talk to us, then we know you don't like animation. Yeah, it's sad because when I read this, it's like one of those elements of, you said a lot, but you didn't really say much. There is an element of, like, you said a whole lot of nothing in this whole thing. But like I said, the nutshell that I'm sort of getting from it is this idea that things suck. Things need to fix. We need to stop sending things overseas. Work conditions suck. But we want to come together with people to bring them to the table to talk about what they can do to improve it. I think that's important. There was a lot of statements coming from this whole thing saying that this is all about calling out bad stuff, but it doesn't really seem that way. It seems like their focus is to sort of bring clarity to the situation and figure out how to fix it. Because they understand, just like many other people understand, this can't keep going. Things are going to fall apart. Something's got to fix, or it's going to break, or the government's going to get involved. And I can honestly say that I'm sort of trusting of this statement. Like, there's a lot of people that come out and say things are terrible, and it's always, my response is always, well, what are you doing? Like Maruyama. He's like, literally, I don't know, it's all going to China. It's like, what are you doing? Like, what exactly are you proposing? Again, that's why I liked the whole interview with the MAPPA CEO. He's saying things that need to fix, and he's doing it. Now, again, I don't know if he's got skeletons in his closet, but what he's saying sounds like he's actually progressing. But I think the thing that makes me sort of hopeful for this group is that Masao Ueda is part of it. And Masao Ueda, we have a track record of him actually working to improve things. He, along with this entertainment lobby group, kind of went forward to claim that they don't like the taxes that were coming later this year. For those who don't remember, this is a tax that is supposed to go upon invoicing, and that you'd have to put your name upon the invoices. And so for a lot of contract people and people that get paid very little, they're going to have to make sure that they invoice everything and tax everything. And it was going to put a lot of people out of business. He said, people call the anime industry a black industry. However, in recent years, the industry as a whole has been working to improve the working environment and ensure employee status for animators. However, the reality is that not everyone can be made an employee, and the importance of supporting freelancers will remain unchanged in the future. Forcing freelancers, especially animators, to close their businesses will mean that young people will no longer be able to enter the industry. I fear that the anime industry will be devastated in a few years' time, and many other members of the industry itself were standing aside. Now, I don't think that's the same group as NAFCA, but I'm pretty sure they probably formed from that. So I do believe that Masuo Ueda has a track record, and him as a chairman of the board sounds like he knows what he's doing and that he's trying to push change. He's getting out there and lobbying. Like, he's literally got boots on the ground. But will anything come of this? I don't know. But I do hope it does. Because like I said earlier, we get a lot of statements, but not enough action. And like I keep bringing up, I would love for them to bring MAPPA CEO Manabu Otsuka on board. Because, like I said, that dude's doing something right. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think this is a great move? Are you hopeful or just don't care because you hear these chirping too much and nothing comes of it? Like Joan and all this other crap. Additionally, if you like this video, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure that subscribe button so you got my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions, top list. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more, I have a Patreon link, tips link, super thanks, and membership button down below. I greatly appreciate it, but it supports the channel, and y'all take care.